Hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Tuesday morning. I am so grateful that you are with us. We do have a wonderful little ghost in the machine this morning. And so some technical things are hanging around. But the good news is for those that are able to see this and are witnessing this, everything is being recorded. And the ghost in the machine is not my dear friend, Steve Andrews, who is here with us today. We have some other ghost hanging out somewhere in the machine today, and my StreamYard is not allowing me to do everything I wanted to do here, Steve. So, folks, thanks for being a part of what we're doing. Thanks for tuning in today. We're here to talk about New Thought and AI. And this is part of our ongoing impact marketing community webinar process and series. And Steve and I were together last month for a great webinar series. If you haven't seen that, it's on our YouTube channel. And we had such a good time. I wanted him to come back and present a bit more about the potentialities of AI in what we're doing. So Steve, welcome. Good to see you, sir.
And to you too, Robert. Thanks for spending some time hanging out again. It's such a great place to be. So hope everybody's having a great Earth Day. And if you're watching this on replay, obviously it was Earth Day when we did this live.
Yes.
That ghost is probably telling us to get outside and put our feet in the ground and maybe ground a little bit prior to jumping in there to something like this. So if you haven't had a moment after this, go dig your feet into the ground.
Yes.
It's funny. I was talking with my wife Nicole, and we were saying, we should go to the river tonight. We're in Northern California, and there's some nice rivers with some beaches that you can put your feet in the water. And we figured we'd try and do that today and ground ourselves in this crazy world that we live in.
Yes. Beautiful. All right. So why don't I get us started with a prayer, and that'll give everybody another minute or two to find the correct link. We're working on sending some more emails to let people know that as some more people come in, and then we'll get started, folks. So if you're in a comfortable place to close your eyes, and I invite you to please do so, join in a moment of recognizing that we are all right here in this moment for a divine calling, for a divine reason, for a divine revelation. Because what I know is happening here is we are doing just that. We are each revelations of the oneness, the allness, the everything that we call God or Buddha or Brahma or Yahweh, Vishnu, Kuan Yin. No matter the name, no matter the icon, we each represent the oneness coming into form as human experience, as a human life. And everyone brings forth a unique set of gifts and skills and talents to this thing called life, so that we may learn and grow and share in a way of bringing forward all that is necessary, all the right technologies, all the right opportunities, the consciousness, the everything that is necessary to create this world that works for all. I am so lifted up in the opportunities that are before us in what we shall learn here this day, for it is a great revelation, and it is perfect. It is exactly necessary at this time. So I dance in that joy, I let it be, and I claim it as so. And so it is.
And so it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. Robert, do we have the link on the bottom of the YouTube video so people can join the webinar directly if there it is?
Yes, I will get that up here in just a second.
Yeah, that way anyone who's joining on YouTube who wasn't able to find who got affected by the gremlins in the system. That was a great movie. I remember used to loving Gremlins as a movie. Just don't get them wet, right?
Yes, exactly. All right, here we go. And I will drop this in a live link in the chat body of this program as well. So if you catch this somewhere, we'll add this into the live link body as well.
There we go. We can get people in here. All right, guys. Well, thank you for being here with us today. We are going to, carry on our webinar series here, and just talk about some of the things that are available to make running your center, your business, your sanctuary, your church easier, and that's what life's about. So we understand a lot of the challenges. I guess we should do a brief introduction of ourselves first of all before we kind of go in. Robert, why don't you introduce yourself, just in case there's anyone here who doesn't know who you are, although I'm sure most people do.
I hope so. I'm not. If you found your way here, folks, and you're not sure who I am, well, I am Dr. Robert Brzezinski, minister of the Centers for Spiritual Living and a New Thought thinker, and I love to bring forward new ways we get to experience and share in the New Thought philosophy. Most recently, the New Thought Media Network, and so media is our bag, and that's kind of how I found Steve here, introduced through a mutual colleague, and sitting on a patio one night at Unity Village. A good friend said, "Robert, I got a guy you got to meet." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I like the sounds of that." It did take us a while, Steve, before our schedules aligned. So obviously, the stars were aligned long before our schedules were. But once our schedules got aligned, it was a real quick, folks, to realize that the man we're about to learn from today has a wealth of knowledge that I do not, in a field where I always felt like I was. I kind of knew what I was talking about. And when I met Steve, I realized that there's a world when it comes to how we can share our message of New Thought in the world that I was completely unaware of. And I still don't know that I understand everything he says, but he makes it easy to follow along, if nothing else. So, Steve, I'm really grateful you're here again today.
Me too, Robert. Me too. It's obviously the British accent. It doesn't translate very well. I've been married to my wife now, coming up on 11 years, and she says there's still things that you say that I'm just like, what is that? Where did that one come from? I've never heard that one before. That I'm pulling these old English catchphrases. So it's great to be hearing everybody's energy. So I'm Steve Andrews. I'm reluctantly spiritual is my favorite thing to say. It's Steve Jobs does a great talk on. He did a talk at Stanford where he said it's only when you look back that you can join the dots, and that's how my spiritual journey has kind of come to where it has come. I'm always used to say everything will work out in the end, and if it hasn't worked out, it's not the end, and that's essentially the universe, God, spirit, the divine mind has my back, right? Those things have been implanted in me for years, and more recently. My wife and I moved from the Bay Area to the Sacramento area, which is where we are right now. We're out on the Highway 50 on the way to Lake Tahoe. If you're ever in this area, let us know. But my wife went on a sobriety journey, found meditation. We found a New Thought Center called the Amani Center. It's an independent center with no main minister, kind of an interesting model, which provides interest and those sorts of things. But we found it in 2019. I think we went for the first time February 2020. And then luckily I was able to help them stream when everything closed down in March 2020 with a marketing background. So aside from that, I run a marketing agency and with many spiritual people involved with that, and many people who you wouldn't think who are spiritual who come out as spiritual. It's like I work with an annuities advisor from Tennessee. Pretty much, he's just bought ads on the Glenn Beck show, so he's as conservative as they come in some ways. But he then comes out and says, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm working with a coach from the Chopra Institute," and I'm like, "Of course you are." And then I started to then we started to have conversations around some of his mindset on things, and a lot of people come to us for those sorts of reasons. So I was working with one of our practitioners here, our ministers. We have rotating ministers, and she said, Steve, you're here to make an impact. So it's funny that we, Robert and I, have come together like the super band that we are, and created the Impact Marketing Collective, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today, but from an AI perspective. And I love to teach. Teaching is, if astrology fits into your belief system, I'm a Leo with Leo rising, which means, as an astrologer once said to me, that she said, you're a lot of fun to be around until you're not. And I took that as a compliment and an insult to a certain extent. But she also found that I had Cancer moon, and so very much a teacher at heart. And so I love to be here talking with great people and helping them do great things. So thank you for being here. And we're going to talk about AI from a few different perspectives, but let's jump into some slides here and kind of I'll lead the way, and we'll let Robert riff in when he comes in. So why you're here today, you're spiritually called, but you're probably thinking we should probably be using some AI, and everybody should be. I think many people are very surface level in AI. They really don't understand the opportunity and how it can be used effectively. I will show you some things that you can do on the systems that are out there that can really help you understand just how it can help. And it, just as everything is created on this earth by us human beings, this is something that has been brought to our attention divinely, and it enables us to operate at a higher level, in my opinion. And so I'm looking forward to digging deeper with you on those sorts of things. You're potentially curious about AI in sacred service, and then looking for that harmony between technology and spiritual practice. And we're going to show you some tools to help you to get where you need to quicker. And we know that time strapped and volunteer short is how most spiritual centers are operating right now. And then, believing in that coexistence where wisdom and technology can enhance each other. And so if you're here for one of those reasons, you are in the right place, and we are going to feed you today. So we're going to talk about technology as being an amplifier, not a replacement, to help things become easier. I always pull out the camera lens here, and, I like to take photos. This is a $2,800 camera lens, not boasting on the price of it or anything like that. It's more that I can put this on a camera and I can take a pretty good photo, but I'm not a photographer. I don't understand lines. I don't understand colors. I kind of know when blue hour and yellow hour are, and all the golden hour, not yellow hour, blue hour and golden hour are. But that's kind of how ChatGPT and the other AI forms that are out there are. They are really good cameras, and anyone can click on it and take a picture, and it'd be a pretty good picture. But if you truly know how to use them and how to feed them, you can get a lot of great stuff out of them. So I'm going to give you some stuff to handle on that as well. So we're going to show you how we've set up some systems for new thought principles and modern tech. We'll talk a little bit about ethics, and then we'll talk about some time-saving tools that can help you, and then creating more peace, which we all need. The Amani Center, Amani is the Swahili word for peace. So anytime we can bring peace, our mission statement is lighting the path to peace together. Our vision statement, I guess, is lighting the path to peace together. So anyway, wanting to dig in, talking of Steve Jobs, technology is nothing. What's important is that you have faith in people. And that's where we can step in here as spiritual centers. And the way we approach this very much is we let spirit, God, the divine mind lead where we're taking things. The intention sets the direction for what we're doing in everything. And so that's why we're able to show up with the tools that we're going to show you guys today. Technology follows, tools respond to our highest vision. The reason we have AI in this place is that we have greater things to do as mankind. We have greater things to do than spend our time on busy work. This is an incredible opportunity for very smart brains to use their time more effectively in other ways by learning how to harness this tool. AI is a reflection. What we input determines what we create. And that's so true with tools. I'm going to go British on you here. Rubbish in, rubbish out. So many people put rubbish into their chat GPT, and as a result of they get rubbish out. I'm going to show you how to do some things that just going to make things so much easier, preceding things and things like that. So, and then we guide the tools with purpose. We're always we're going to show you a tool that I think you guys will maybe love, maybe hate. It's a controversial one, but you don't have to use it. But it's just one that I think it just shows what you can do with this. And for those of you who are writing talks for Sundays, if you're not using this sort of system, you are missing out on the opportunity to amplify your talk in the best way possible. So, so let's talk about challenges we face as spiritual leaders. The main one, tool overwhelm. Too many options, not enough alignment with your vision. Who here is using MailChimp, WordPress, Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, Zoom, Canva, Google Docs, maybe using Microsoft Office as well. I know we have a whole thing with old leaders of the church being involved with one arm of the nonprofit, and oh my goodness, we can't get control over the Google accounts, and there's so much to go on there. But tool overwhelm is definitely a big thing. Scale versus quality. Call to serve more without diluting your message. To be relevant on social media, you need to be posting. You need to be posting actively. But sometimes it can be hard to think outside of what event am I promoting next, when we need to be building awareness of what we do and the work that we do, because we have an audience that is crying for us. They just don't know it. Right. We found New Thought Church because my wife was looking for a place to meditate. But we were reading the books. She'd loved Eckhart for years. She'd read The Power of Now. She'd learned, and I think those leaders in mindset who are practicing New Thought principles, the Tony Robbins, the Gabrielle Bernsteins, the Marianne Williamsons, they all have huge audiences of people who should be sitting down and listening to our message and contributing to our communities. But we just don't market ourselves very well. We don't put ourselves in the right place. So I think it's very much an opportunity to do those sorts of things. But we are balancing multiple roles. We're teaching, we're marketing, we're organizing, we're fundraising. We have a patio cleanup. We don't have enough volunteers. That's the nature a lot of what we do. And so we want to find systems and ways to grow peacefully, instead of, having growth that feels stressful. We want to, expand in an aligned way. Does that sound about right, Robert, in terms of what's going on with most spiritual communities right now?
Oh, I would say absolutely. I hear all of these things, and I hear more and more everyday people starting to venture into this arena, and I'm concerned truly that people will just kind of put the easy prompt in and get the easy answer back. And that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a much deeper dive into a true blend, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So moving on to our next slide here. So, I want you to imagine having content in minutes, inspired material flowing effortlessly. I want you to imagine being able to analyze your data more. I think for a while, everyone's had lots of data, but unless you have a business analytics expert on hand, it can be really hard to even understand what that data means. And imagining being able to do those sorts of things. You want systems that make life easier. And, with volunteers, I'm going to talk about a personal thing that we have going on here. So we stream our service every Sunday, and we have a limited number of people who are available to stream, and then someone goes away, and then there's for a couple of weeks, and then you've got even less people. And so my goal with that even is to make things as simple as possible, so anyone can come, press the start button, and everything kind of falls into place. And often you are 2 steps away from being able to fully automate some of these things and build them in. We use ProPresenter for our slides. And Robert's probably going to tell me I should be using something else, but we use ProPresenter for our slides, and we have an ATEM switcher. And with automation, you can have it automatically so that a camera will switch based on the person on a tag that's applied to a slide. And so we're moving towards that full-on opportunity there, which makes things work for everybody, because ultimately our communities change, people move in, people move out, and it's about continuity that's important. So having systems in place enables that.
Yes. Nothing like the wrong title on a program because one system switched and another didn't. Somebody didn't get the word.
So, moving on from that, here we go. So let's talk a little bit about ethics, right? Okay, so obviously AI gives us an incredible ability to find out things about about people, about ourselves that we don't even know. If you're a ChatGPT user, who here's using AI? Let's have some comments in the chat. Who here's using AI? If you're using AI, what tools have you tried? Have you tried ChatGPT? Have you tried Claude? Have you tried Grok, Gemini? There's so many different ones. This presentation was put together using Gamma. Drop what platforms you're using in here. And whatever you're using, if you're using it regularly, go and ask ChatGPT what it knows about you from what you've put into it. Have you done that? Have you done that, Robert? Oh my goodness. It knows me so well. It's kind of crazy. It really is. A lot of ChatGPT's AI option in Canva and Constant Contact. I love it. Yeah. We'll show Gemini deep research. Yes, I love the deep research functions in many of the different tools. It is game changing. It is game changing for understanding where people are on things. So in terms of ethics here, everything we do is based in spirit first. As much as what do they say in Jurassic Park? They spent so much time thinking how to do it, they didn't think if they should have done it. I'm horrible at quoting movies. Ask my wife. I'm horrible at that side of things. My 17-year-old can remember a TV show we watched 3 months ago and remember what happened in an exact episode, but I barely make my way through quotes. But thinking what you should do is definitely there. But AI gives us the ability to amplify love and clarity. It helps us serve our higher purpose better. And if we prime AI in the right way, we can let our values guide the algorithms. We can let it guide what we have here. And then we can make that conscious choice at the heart of every automation. Ethics is all about choices. And this is a great system that we can use, and we can choose to use how we use it effectively for our highest good. So I'm going to show you some tools in a minute, but first I'm just going to go off and freestyle some stuff so you can see how a marketer uses ChatGPT. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. I always figure, and a marketer and someone who just, someone who just likes to know what's going on in life. So, and you'll understand as you do it. So before I go into, let's do some marketing stuff first. I always fly by the seat of my pants a lot of these things. So if you're a marketer, or if you are trying to market your center, my favorite book is Story Brand by Donald Miller. You can maybe put that one on the up so everyone can find that. Story Brand by Donald Miller. He happens to be a Christian publisher. We won't hold it against him. We're open at the top and open to all religions, etc. But he has this framework around. Let's put it to work. What can you tell me about the Story Brand framework? And I could put Donald Miller, but I think it knows enough that I could put that in it. It's going to pull up the information on it here. There you go. It knows it's by Donald Miller. So the concept behind it, and it's going to tell us here, is you position the customer as the hero of the story and the brand as the guide. How does this work in a spiritual center? Your people that are coming to you are their heroes. They're the people who have problems. They have an external problem. Maybe they're having a divorce. Maybe they are having a crisis of faith. Maybe they figured out that they just don't fit into a regular church. And then they have internal problems, which you can see here as well. I feel overwhelmed and behind. This comes from a movie messaging. So whenever I describe this to clients, I always talk about The Karate Kid, which is my favorite movie. One of my favorite movies, but probably my favorite movie of all time. I'm an 80s kid. So I was born in 82, if that gives you an idea of how old I am. The Karate Kid, Daniel's son, doesn't feel like he fits in. He's moved from Jersey to California and to the rich neighborhood. If you haven't seen this movie, where have you been? Go watch it. But he meets a guide who is Mr. Miyagi, who tells him to wax on and wax off and paint the fence and sand the floor. And he listens. And, in a way, we as spiritual centers are Mr. Miyagi. People come to us and they find people who have similar things, who've gone through who have similar stories. And we give them a guide. We tell them to, come to service, to take part in classes, to use spiritual mind treatment or take spiritual mind treatment with a practitioner. So the reason I'm showing you this, not that we're here to teach a marketing class specifically, but what I'm doing is priming, I guess is the right word of doing this. Like you would prime a pump, in the old days. I'm priming ChatGPT to respond in the way that I want to. So I'm now going to, let's say we're writing a homepage. So with this in mind, let's write a homepage for a New Thought church. And it will, again, these are fairly vague pieces. You can be as detailed as you want. I will often go very deep in terms of how I write things. But what you'll see is that they're going to use the specific story brand framework to make this happen. So you're trying to call out to that hero, right? You're trying to tell Luke to use the Force. You're trying to tell, Danielson to wax on and wax off. You're telling Marlin in Finding Nemo to just keep swimming. Whatever that is, that story brand framework kind of comes in from everyone. And so awaken the power within, live a life you love. It's a little trite. I'm not going to lie. Live a life you love always feels a little trite, but you were born to thrive spiritually, emotionally, and practically. Our New Thought community helps you remember your divine identity and apply spiritual principles to every area of your life. That's one piece of priming, and that comes out of it. If you know what you're doing, that's the sort of thing you can get out of that. For me, that subheadline hits. It hits exactly where I want to be as a spiritual person. It might not fit your message exactly. You can prime it in different ways, but life can feel heavy. You might be stuck in old patterns, feeling disconnected, overwhelmed, or spiritually dry. You're not alone. So many people are craving more than just inspiration. They want transformation. And then here comes the guide. We're here to help you remember who you really are. I'm not going to go through the whole output, but you can kind of see some of the things that you can do here in terms of getting, of putting together great work here. Okay, I'm going to start another message now, just so we can kind of go through some different things here. So I've put together some fake financials, and I'm going to show you what this looks like here. Because I wanted to, talk about other things that you could do here. So analyze this donation spreadsheet, and you can blank out their names so no one knows what it does. You could replace it with initials. You could put random details in instead, so that you're not putting things out into the world. But and tell me who has dropped off in donating in the last 3 months. So this is a spreadsheet I put together. Well, actually, AI put together, which shows donations by month by people. And it might take a little longer to analyze this, but it's a great opportunity to take a look at that and understand just who your donors are. Because I think that we're not very good at this. Most centers are
reluctant to ask for money. Christian churches do a lot better job of it. They capture people a lot more. So what you can see here is these are people who've dropped off. So you can actually see their whole. So this Mark has given nothing in the last 3 months. That's correct. Looks like Kimberly has given nothing in the last 3 months. So you can see these people have given nothing in the last 3 months at all. Prior to that, they had donations here and there. And so this gives your team an opportunity to say, you know, hey, I notice you're giving a bulk donation here and there. It would be fantastic from our manager financing if you could commit to giving 100 a month instead of, 300 here and then, whatever that looks like. This is random generated, but you can see, okay, this person here gave 130, 443, 237, and then nothing. So this would be more helpful from a ongoing management of financing if they gave $100 a month, because you'd know what you're getting from them as opposed to the details that's got there. Again, another simple use. You can upload anything in a PDF and you can analyze it in this way. Another great use for this here. Who here has perfect SOPs for events that they're running? Now, of course, the secret behind any SOP is that people actually use it and commit to using it. We can never promise that, but we can write amazing SOPs. So instead of jumping straight to an SOP, what are the components of a good SOP, standard operating procedure? That's for anyone here, and ChatGPT would know what it means. What are the components of a good SOP for volunteer activities? Because it might be a little different to someone who's being paid to follow a process exactly. So it's going to tell us exactly what this might look like. And then we can take it on our own and say, okay, perfect. We have a greeter on a Sunday at our spiritual center, Sunday service. Please put together an SOP that articulates what this requires. And if you want it to be even more accurate, ask you a question. Ask me any questions you need. Excuse the typo. GPT won't mind. Ask me any questions you need to make this an effective and efficient SOP. I love co-creating with Spirit, with GPT. So here's the right questions to ask that then could create that SOP. What time should the greeter arrive? And how I would respond to something like this, it will learn. So what time the greeter arrive? Let's say it's 9:45 a.m. How long should they be there? 90 minutes. At the door, with love. Any spiritual or branded phrasing they should use. Is this your first time at the Amani Center? What happens after greeting? Do they transition to another role when service begins? Continue to greet and then pass baskets for donations. This is how it works at our center. We're a smaller center. Hand out programs and gifts. Little charm for new congregants. Oh, well, there's even going to ask me that same question. As above. Yes, flyer, gift, intro to new people. You don't need to be overly verbose with it on the way back. Yes, no, we don't have anything like that. No on dress code. What happens if they're running late? I can't make it. Connect with volunteer manager Gina.
Marcy is the point person. No tech. Okay, and then you hit it back, and now you've given it enough. I think people sometimes don't want to put the effort to put a good prompt in, but suddenly once you do, you've got something that comes out which is highly effective for what you want to do here. Again, as a marketing agency, a lot of our team don't understand the power of this because they've been used to doing things a certain way for so long that they don't even think about the ways that this could make their life easier. And I'm going to show you some other things as well here, but obviously this is showing you a great SOP that you can have there, that people can have a copy of, and you can create those for anything. The same thing can be done for an event. Hey, we're running a class on this, put together a promotion plan, etc., etc. I'm going to show just a couple more before I we kind of go back to our presentation here. So let's say you're doing I'm doing a talk this Sunday on being supported by the universe. Give me an Ernest Holmes, a Unity, and Divine Science. Is that the third one, Robert?
Yes.
Thank you. Quotes to use in this, and a contemporary quote to help connect with people newer to New Thought. And instead of having to go and find those quotes, this gives you the ability to just pull them in. And it'll be complimentary to you as well here. Beautiful theme for a Sunday talk. Well, thank you. I'll go personal and vulnerable here. I'm trying to get my ass in shape, as you Americans would say. And so I actually upload my weight, or a snapshot of my weight, to it. And I'm like, I'm plateauing. Why am I plateauing? You may be plateauing because you're getting ready for your next stage of transformation. And it's wonderful for that. And it tells me when I should expect, based on my current weight loss, to hit this and to hit this. And, it's like a coach that's built in for us here. So obviously that was low effort. The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. But, there's it pulls quotes from the various areas for you there as well. So one of the things, I'm a chef. I like to cook. And so often what you have is you're doing lots of different new dishes, and you have to sit down and you have to work. Okay, well, what time do I have to put the potatoes in? How about the carrots? What time do I have to do this? If you have lots of different recipes, I would take PDFs of the recipes and I would upload them here, and I would say, give me an overall timeline on everything that I need to do. And then it'll be like, okay, you need to cut your potatoes at this point. You need to put them on to boil here. While you're doing that, put the oven on, do this. And it is amazing for just taking the overthinking out of certain things like that is just incredible. And ChatGPT is just one of them. If anyone's not used Claude, I love Claude for writing. It's a better writer. It has a different feel to it. Claude is from a company called Anthropic. You'll see projects on everything, but all sorts of different messaging that we've done in here. Job postings is particularly good. Running ads, these sorts of things. If you need to put together an overall strategy or an avatar for your business, this is a great place to start with some of these sorts of things as well. So I wanted to, just touch on that. And then Grok, not a big Elon Musk fan, but Grok is really great for coding on those sorts of things. And someone mentioned the deep research function on Gemini. Research is really great for understanding where people are on things. So there's some amazing things that you can do with all of these different platforms. So with that, I'll come back to the slides. Hero's Journey. Yes, that's right. I'm just seeing these comments here. So, StoryBrand comes back to Joseph Campbell's book, A Hero with a Thousand Faces, and really aligns with those sorts of things as well. Okay, so obviously, some of you have been here, you've seen us talk before, but we came together to be the super band. We're essentially like taking the guitarist from Led Zeppelin and the singer from the Beatles and creating this amazing super band, and that's what Robert and I have done to support New Thought Centers. It's something that's very close to our heart. We love the message of this. We feel that they're no offense, that we're not very good marketers in general in terms of getting our messaging out there. And so, with that in mind, we have a tool that we have a few spiritual centers that have become part of this. And our goal here is to quote JFK, to be that rising tide that lifts all boats. And we're working to do that within the bounds of the Impact Marketing Collective. So we do have a Facebook group that we haven't been active in yet, but we have started. So I would love to see you over there. But our goal here with working with spiritual centers is to create materials that can be shared between them. We're having a conversation with a couple of the education bodies behind New Thought, who will probably be coming in to use our platform as well. But the goal here is to create systems that can help centers everywhere thrive. And so one of those systems is our tool, which is called Rule Your Business. And I'm going to show you some of these tools that we have inside of that that are mentioned here on the slide. So we've actually built out some AI tools of our own inside that for you. So let's, I'm going to change what screen I'm sharing here. Present, share screen, and then this one. No. Too many tabs open, Robert. I'm sure you never have that problem, right?
Never.
That's the wrong tab. That's the one. So
and I'm not sure where that music's coming from, but yes.
You can hear music from me?
No, that's the joke. Too many tabs open.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I was on the YouTube to check and see if the link was posted underneath it, and I pressed the mute on it. I'm like, I thought I pressed the mute. I thought I was in trouble. Recovering people pleaser here. Nothing appears in the right order. This is the one then. No. Close that one. Let's make this easier on myself. I'm just going to close the other tabs that are the wrong one so that I can find the right one.
Okay. There you go.
And then present and then share screen. We're professionals, trust us. Okay, so this is our Rule Your Business platform. So this is something we've been working on and have been customizing for spiritual businesses. So things in here, business, spiritual centers, churches. So things that we've built in here already. So things like a donation funnel, so you can capture people's donations and understand them. We already have built in here contacts, so you can understand people within the system. You can understand how they've been donating. You can understand, what submissions they've done, what interests they have. Building rich information on our people is something that we have built in here, as well as the social media planner for creating your social media. We have email systems inside of here as well, and full-on websites, funnels, even the ability to run webinars and run courses are all built inside of this platform. I'm not going to go too far into it because we have spoken about this before, but I wanted to show that and then talk a little bit more about AI. So with all that in mind, we have just added, and I see you here, Eamon, and we'll make sure that this gets added to your instance. But we have added spiritual AI tools because we want to make things easy for you. Again, we're trying to be that tide that rises all boats. So we have a couple of different tools that are pre-built because, as I said with ChatGPT, it's about priming the pump. And so what we've done is prime the pump on some of these here. So let's take a look at the Spiritual Mind Treatment Creator. This is the one that I felt might be a little controversial, but we're going to do it anyway. As a marketer, we understand the framework that we need to write great copy for a landing page, for an email sequence. we understand those aspects. So when we prime our pump, when we set our systems, we know how to feed that. And what we've done is fed an AI system here, so it can get you 90% of the way with creating a spiritual mind treatment or a prayer. And you then have the ability to edit it, to put your own twist on it. But ultimately, this is a fantastic way to get started. Robert was talking about using it in an education space when you're teaching a practitioner how to create a spiritual mind treatment. So let's go through and do this. So select your prayer framework. So we have that option there. What's the theme of your prayer? What do we feel like? Some Earth Day. What can we do around Earth Day? Inner peace and emotional healing. That feels very grounding to me. Looking for an Earth Day focused prayer around grounding and releasing. And let's make this, what do we feel like?
Bold. Let's go bold.
I love it. And then how do we want to refer to God, Spirit, the divine mind, the Christ within? So let's let the framework choose for us in this case. How should this prayer be spoken as a practitioner declaring on truth on behalf of someone, as a self prayer, or for a group? Let's do this for a group, and let's keep it at 3 minutes so the AI doesn't have to work too hard on that. And this is where we pray to all things that the AI is all working correctly at this time. So here's the response. So right here and right now, we gather in the sacred awareness of one life, one presence, one infinite intelligence, this divine and perfect spirit that flows through everything seen and unseen. I recognize this presence as the all-sustaining power that breathes life into every blade of grass, every ancient tree, every ocean wave, and every beating heart. I wasn't going to read the whole of this, but I'm kind of in this right now. This feels amazing. That's just me saying this, but it is a grounding force of Earth, the generous strength of Gaia herself. United in the awareness of oneness, we recognize that this same infinite presence is alive, awake, and vibrant within all of us. Each one here is an individualized expression of this perfect life, deeply rooted, divinely loved, and eternally supported. Bound by a profound connection to Mother Earth, we embody her peace, her strength, and her effortless grace. In this sacred and precious moment, we boldly declare the deepest truth of our being. Divine peace is our inherent nature. Inner harmony, emotional clarity, and healing are unfolding effortlessly as we consciously choose to release that which no longer serves us. With the energy of Earth Day supporting us, we plant our roots firm in divine truth, willingly laying down every worry, fear, anxiety, discord, or emotional burden. We joyfully release it into the fertile field of infinite possibility, knowing that whatever we let go of is transformed into spiritual nourishment for our growth and wholeness. We declare boldly and powerfully that we are grounded in peace, strong in faith, calm in heart, and tranquil in mind. Just as the earth naturally renews, heals, and balances herself, our own emotional landscape is now being restored to perfect harmony. We confidently affirm this sacred and healing renewal taking place within every cell, every thought, every feeling, and every relationship. Rooted deeply in spiritual awareness and divinely grounded in peace, we grow forth, freshly centered, vibrantly alive, and wholeheartedly healed. We are balanced and harmonized in spirit, rejoicing in the freedom of release and renewal. For this realization, this healing truth, and the resulting deepening of inner peace, we offer heartfelt gratitude and celebrate the magnificent wholeness of each one present. We give thanks for Mother Earth and all she teaches us, knowing our gratitude expands and multiplies this feeling of calm clarity throughout our lives and our world. Now, fully aligned with the Earth's sacred rhythm, we release these words in this prayer into the power and intelligence of infinite presence, knowing that as we speak it, it is already accomplished in the mind of God. We choose to joyfully release, let go, and let it be. And so it is. What do you think to that, Robert? Who thinks that this could make relevant spiritual mind treatments a little bit easier?
And when you first showed this to me, Steve, the first thing that jumped up for me, well, it was multiple things that jumped up for me as a training tool to help practitioners, where we can allow practitioners to share their version of a specific prayer for a concern or an issue, and then bring back the AI version and do a comparison and work together as an instructor with your students in that way. I also see this as an immediate opportunity to share the power of prayer with people in the middle of the night, from the middle of the world, whenever or wherever, because this type of tool could be built into an automation and an automated form submission that would allow us to even track what requests people have from us and be able to craft even more individualized responses, and help us to stay in tune with what's happening with our congregation, the people, and be able to recognize and reach out. Hey, that's 4 prayer requests in 3 days on our AI chatbot. Let's make sure we get somebody real and human reaching out to this person as quickly as possible as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done Science of Mind, which is where our church is, and in the home side of things, and that felt pretty much on par to something that I would expect to hear in our church. I think that's something that is pretty close to what I would expect a practitioner to come out with. As Eamon says, it's impressive, and it can very much be used to support people as they're learning. And it for me, it's a reflection of the divine. We have our own words, we have our own things. This is always a good question, but I know I'm not sure how it is with everyone else's New Thought Center. I was president of our board for 2.5 years, and I stepped down, and we have we have what we call our circle of light, which is our practitioners. And they are aging, and we don't have enough new ones coming through. And I think that part of what we're here to do, aside from be able to help you guys market, communicate, organize better, is to bring together this collective of New Thought Centers who want, whether they're Unity, whether they're CSL, whether they're independent, whether they're Divine Science, whichever, place that you're coming from, we're here to bring people together to help raise all of our centers, to raise awareness for everybody, and to help us all thrive in this space. I love some of this debate that's coming in here. The power of prayer is the consciousness. If a chatbot gives me a prayer, I can pray it. I'd always want a practitioner to put their consciousness on it. Yeah,
exactly. And we want to, one of the things I've noticed over the years, Steve, and one of the reasons I specifically asked you to develop this tool, is many centers that have a chat or an email request form, but I tell you, I fill everyone out I see, and we don't do a great job of actually responding, and even in a timely manner. And I know my ministry has been guilty of that as well. That a prayer request comes in on an email line on a Friday night at 10 o'clock, and I didn't see it, and somebody didn't see it, and the next thing we know, it's Tuesday of the next day, and we're finding a stale prayer request that went unanswered. And I think that reflects even more poorly on our community when when people fall through the cracks. Through this power of this platform and the automations and things I've been setting up in my own ministry, we have an ability to respond to people in the moment, in their own time. And yes, there is always going to be the desire and the need for human follow-up, for a human interaction to go along with it. We're not by any means suggesting you just turn this thing on and forget about it.
No.
And we want to use the tools that people today's world, if I put something in line, I expect a response pretty darn quick. And if we can give people that sort of consciousness, because it is built on our inputs, on our consciousness, on the collective consciousness of this movement, I think we can do a great service for people with these tools.
Yeah, you know, it's no different to our marketing team. You know, anyone can go and put in a request for a newsletter. Anyone can go and put in a request for a landing page, an email sequence, etc. But you need to have a trained eye to look over it afterwards to see, are we hitting on pain points? Are we, you know, what's the hook like? And AI will produce things that don't hit the standard they need to. And the same thing here is that a practitioner should be looking over this, but it can give a great inspiration for getting things started. And, you know, if you need to put content together, similar things, you know, getting relevant content out there, we have tools around those sorts of things as well. So let me show you a few more things in the platform. I know we're kind of running a little late. We're talkers here, unfortunately. So we'll try and tie up in the next 15 minutes or so here, though. So if you would give us that extra 15 minutes, we'd appreciate you and being here in it. So you know, coming back to the platform here. So this is Rule Your Business, which you can get through speaking to Robert or myself. It is a platform that we have started to build this AI component inside of it. So we've created a guided meditation creator. What's the desired theme? How long do you want the meditation to be? Great content to put on social media. A message maker here. What's your weekly theme? What's your audience? What tone do you want for the message? For your message. So this could be a message to use to speak. This could be a message that you would use to put in a newsletter, many different ways. And we're open to building new tools that make things easier for your centers. So if you find that no one puts together a good event organizing planner, you can see we have that event and workshop planner here. What type of event? What's the spiritual theme? Is it in person, virtual? Who's the audience? It's going to put that together. We're not going to sit here and run through all of these different things here, but they are here. The email subject line creator, the donor evaluator that we showed you earlier, SOP builder here. And we're open to building new tools to make things really easy for your center. And it all comes included as part of our Rule Your Business platform, which you'll see here, which has all those different pieces that we kind of spoke to earlier. I just want to look at the slides a minute here, Robert, just to see that we've covered that. So I think it's probably a good point to kind of talk a little bit more about what we're trying to do here. So, you know, we have a good movement between unity, between CSL, between independents, that all are helping communities that need support now that many others don't. You know, we spoke about communicating in a challenging time when we last met, and knowing that people are being cast out instead of brought into communities. And so when we put this together, our goal here is to, I'll put it out there and be bold. We're trying to be the support platform for New Thought churches. Everything that we do, we want you to come to us knowing that we're not just another marketing enterprise that's trying to do this. In fact, in our business, this is one of the smaller areas of business for us. But this isn't something that we're just doing because we're like, oh, New Thought centers, yeah, they've got money, we can work with them. We know that most of us don't have money. So but what we're trying to do is put tools together and help bring together in a way that we can support each other. So as much as though you're coming to use a tool with us and having access to that tool, it's also about, okay, Eamon, who recently joined the platform, they have a men's ministry. Many New Thought centers don't have those opportunities for men the same. So now we have a men's ministry that we could talk to somebody in South Carolina or in Florida or in California or in another one of the states, a middle state, Wyoming, but who could talk to one of those and say, hey, I've got this men's program that's online and we can do that, or we can license some of the material and use it to teach it in person. We have so much power when we work together. And so when we came up with this Impact Marketing Collective, it truly is a collective. It's bringing together people to work together. And although we might feel, well, we belong to the CSL family or the Unity family, or we're unaffiliated, which makes us blah, blah. This is our opportunity to bring everybody together. And so our goal here is to support you truly in that. It is where we are. So, and what does that look like? It looks like, helping you have systems that work, helping build collaboration and networking, so we can share best practices. Literally, our Rule Your Business system. If someone was running a 4 agreements class, we just finished running one at Amani ourselves. You could be like, hey, I'm going to run a 4 agreements class. Does anybody have a template for an email sequence they could send me? Yes. And you know what we can do? You can message our support and we can copy it from one account to another. So you have it in your account ready to go. That's what we want to create. We want to create that sort of collaboration. And honestly, it needs more people. That's what we're here for as well. So we're trying to support you with the best tools, the things that you need. Eamon, thank you for saying that. We love working with you. We love people who have a mission. Even our clients outside of here, outside of New Thought, we're working with a psychotherapist out of Seattle who has a program called Oxygen for Women, and it's all about. She hates the word self-care, but she uses self-abandonment, and I love that term. She's got a bigger thing here to do than just to make money. It's to make an impact, and that's what we're here to support. Back to that astrologer, they called me the Quincy Jones of people. So not the star, but the person that's known in the background that helps tinker with things and be the producer. And that's what we're trying to do with things here.
As you were sharing, one of the things that sparked for me is, if you think about it, folks, every one of us, if you're in a spiritual leadership position, probably have a dozen different meetings that are once a month type meetings. And the traditional method is to allow people to remember that themselves, or somebody hopes to remember to send a reminder email. And what we're able to do here is set that once, and then, as Steve is saying, duplicate. And so I have already personally created an annual calendar reminder that I've worked with my practitioner prayer partners, that team, to say, how often would you like to be reminded of our monthly meeting? How soon before the meeting would you like an email with the link? And yes, human error gets in there a little bit. Some of you got the wrong link to this thing, but as we solidify and double check those, I have a full workflow for monthly meetings with specific reminders, and we can transfer that into your account with a few clicks of the button. And so you're not recreating all the various things that have been recreated just because you're new to the team or new to the project or new to the community. We have the opportunity to be able to click a few buttons and it's yours. It's an important point.
Yeah, and we'll never do that without your express permission. You need to say, hey, can you transfer this to someone? Obviously we understand the IP, but I also think that we want everyone to win. That's our goal here.
Yeah.
Let's hop back to the slides just for a couple more minutes here, just so we can cover a few more things. I know there was a few questions there about, getting started and things like that. So, our goal is to be this space for you, to help you with virtual assistants in the longer run. It's not a service we have right now, but setting up automations for you, helping you to be able to build your influence. We've run probably millions of dollars of Facebook and Google ads over our time as an agency. And you don't have to spend huge amounts. You can make an impact with a couple of dollars a day. And those sorts of things, just to build your awareness, because often we're hidden away, we're maybe renting a room. And so no one knows about us if they don't know about us. So great things that we can support you with. And the platform here that we've shown you, this is Rule Your Business. So obviously it has community management, it has teaching systems, so it has courses, has communities, and we already have built out some base things, a donation form, a new volunteer form. All of these things should be going on in your centers to give, and should the word that we shouldn't be uttering, but these things will help your center operate at a higher level. So if you had to invest in all of these different things separately, you'd be looking at about $600 a month. And what we're looking at is a lot more budget friendly right now. With everything in mind, you can go and you can set up and prime all of the various automation platforms. You can go and do that yourself. You can set up a custom GPT if you're comfortable with doing those sorts of things, and you can build this out and pay ChatGPT whatever they charge $20 to $200 a month to do that. That's one way of going out and implementing these sorts of things. Or you can take the easy route, I should say. We have this platform already that's built that we're ready to continue building with you. If you need a custom GPT, a custom AI system set up that we believe will help the whole community, we're here to build it. We're here to create those sorts of things, which enables you to stay in your zone of genius. It enables you to work on bringing more people into your center, to take care of the people in your center better. And we can support you throughout the whole process. And that can look like, okay, well, I just want to use the software. Or it can look like, hey, I'd like your help to build that out for us, to build a website for us in this as well. And we can work out, we're pretty flexible in terms of knowing where budgets are, that we're able to stretch budgets out over a long time to make things work as well. So these are ways that we can support you. So if you want to move forward with the platform on its own ranges from $97 to $197 a month based on where you are. If you are an individual spiritual leader who just wants some basic tools, you're looking at about $97 a month. If you want to be able to have the full suite of everything that's going on, you're looking at $197 a month. And that's to be part of a community that is going to grow and continue to grow and provide such great inspiration and uplifting for New Thought centers across the United States initially, but probably across the world in the long run. So if you are interested in moving forward with this, you can hop on a call using the link that Robert has there, which is book.impactmarketingcollective.com/consultation. We should probably throw that in the chat as well so people can click on it, Robert. Make it easy for people here. And we can also give you a link to sign up if you're ready to just move ahead with it. I would recommend jumping on a call just so we can understand where you are and we can help you make the best decision in terms of this. But join us. This is a movement. As much as though this is a tool, neither Robert nor I are going to get rich off this tool at $197 a month, but we're going to get rich at the impact that you guys are going to make. We're going to get rich knowing that your systems are supported. We're going to, that gives us so much more than it's never going to be a multi-million-dollar business by any stretch of the imagination, but it has the ability to create such an impact across the United States, and it has the ability to make y'all, as you guys say over here, it has the ability to make y'all bring in a lot of revenue to cover things. And as we create this collective of people who are lifting each other up, helping each other using the platform, creating a collective consciousness around this, it really gives us the ability to do some amazing things together. Yeah. So hopefully you'll consider joining us, being part of the movement.
I want to, real quickly, before we wrap up here, I want to welcome Rainbow Weldon, Reverend Rainbow, Reverend Cheryl Driscoll, Dea, all already sent in a request to be a part of the Facebook group. That's Marketing and Operations for New Thought Community Leaders. So we'll be approving those here in just a second. And so it is a movement, Steve. It is a community. And again, we would love to speak with you. If you have questions, if you know you're ready to move forward, please jump on, book a call for next week. I'll be at Unity Village all this coming week. So I think our next availability for a call is next week. or join the community and pay attention, because we're going to be doing more of this kind of stuff, Steve. I know we've spoken. We don't want to we're not just here to try to sell you something. We want to build community. And that means we're going to continue to offer resources such as this and future webinars that allow us to look at places. Once the community is built a bit, we're going to be having some free community member only seminars and webinars where we can all learn together, share best practices and those types of things. So we'd love to see you as part of all this.
Yeah, and if you're not ready to make that jump right now, I hope you learn some things about how to use AI to truly improve the systems that you're doing. We're building more and more advanced things to support. And I know that those that are involved are really going to benefit as centers and grow. So.
Exactly. Folks, we're going to wrap this up, let you get back into the rest of your day. And I'm overdue for lunch. So we'll let you get into the rest of your day. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out, get in touch with one of us, and you can respond to any of the emails you've seen with reminders for this as well. So until next time, we want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.